Hi, year ones. Welcome to your arithmetic and your times table lesson. And I'm really excited because this is the first time ever that we're going to be looking at our times tables this year. So remember, this is a video that we only put up once a week, but actually a lot of these skills that we practice are skills that we would practice every single day at school. So if you want to save this video as one of your favorites and maybe give yourself a little bit of practice every single day on this, you can just follow right along with the video and it will give you lots of really good practice working on your arithmetic and your counting and your times tables. So I would say this video we post once a week, but if you can do it every day, it's really good practice. Okay, we're going to get started by counting in tens. Now at school we use our lovely bead bar, and what I have on the screen now is a picture of a bead bar that you can use. So use the bead bar to help me to count to 100 in tens. I'm going to point to the screen with my little pen, and I'll see if you can count first, and then I'll go back and we can count together. Fantastic. I'm glad you had a bit of practice. Now we're going to do it all together. Ready? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Fantastic counting. Now we're going to have a look at the hands, and I've chosen hands because hands are in fives. And we're going to count to 50 in fives. So join me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Let's keep going. 45, 50. Fantastic. And that's some really good practice. If you can practice counting in tens and fives every single day, that's going to help you a lot when it comes time to learning your tens and your fives times tables. So it's really, really handy, and it's good for you to practice it every single day because it gets it right into your memory and you won't even have to think about it. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of arithmetic practice. So some adding. I was going to ask you what that symbol was, but that's okay. I'll ask you next time. So we're going to be practicing our adding, and when we add, we know that our numbers are getting bigger because we're putting numbers together to make a bigger number. So I'm going to ask you to freeze the screen, and I want you to have a go on a piece of paper at doing your adding. Now I've chosen all arithmetic problems that are within 10, so you can use your fingers to help you add. If you know and you can do it with your mental maths, like counting on some of those strategies that we practiced at school, that's even better. But if you need to use your fingers, you can, because all of these problems are within 10. If you need a bit of a reminder of the counting on strategy, I will show you with the first question. So we're going to start with 3 plus 2. So we know when we're counting on, we take the biggest number and we stick it in our head. So is it going to be 3 or is it going to be 2? Which one's bigger? 3. So we're going to put 3 in our head, and then we're going to count on 2 more. So I've got 3, 4, 5. That's my counting on strategy, and I'll write my answer down. So either using your fingers to put together, to do your adding together, or you can do your counting on, which is a bit more of a challenge, or you might already know these problems and you can write them out. And if you can write them out quickly, I want you to represent it also as a part whole and a bar model, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. So 3 plus 2 equals 5, so I would do my whole, which is 5, because whole is the biggest number. And then I would do my part. So I've got a 3 and I've got a 2. And if you're doing your bar model, it's really similar. You've got your 5 at the top. We've got 3 as our bigger part, followed by a 2. So lots of different levels of challenge. You can finish the problems on your fingers. You can finish them by counting on. You can finish them by counting on and then challenge yourself to do your part whole and your bar model pictures. And I can't wait to see pictures sent in all your arithmetic. This is really good practice for you. So our next little challenge is to have a look at another way that we can write addition problems. So we haven't seen much of this in our work at school, but it's really important for us to see that they can be represented in different ways. So what we have here is still adding, but instead of having a double equal sign, this has been written with one line below. So I'll read you the problem so you can see what they would look like. We have 3 plus 3 equals. So even though it's written differently, it's still the same problem that we saw before with 3 plus 3 equals. It's just written a different way. So we have 6 plus 2 equals, 4 plus 5 equals, and 5 plus 3 equals. And again, all of these number problems are problems within 10, so you can use your fingers to help you solve it. You can do your counting on. But it's important for you to practice number problems, not just as we see them kind of the regular old way, going across, but to see that there's a different way for us to represent them as well. All right, we're going to move on to our multiplication, which is really, really good. So again, I would just say freeze that screen and write down and practice your arithmetic from this page. And I can't wait to see your answers when you send them in. And now we're going to move on to multiplication. So we're going to be looking at the ones times tables today. So on the board, you can see a picture and there's one group. We can see that one group because we have one circle. So the circle shows us our group. So one group of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares is the same as how much? How much do we have in the center? How many do we have in the center of our group if we have one group of 5? Is it 5, 4, or 9? How much do we have all together? One group of 5 is the same as how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One group of 5 is the same as 5. We can also write that with a different symbol. Now we know the adding symbol, we know the taking away symbol. This is the times symbol. We're going to do a bit more work on the time. We're going to do a lot more work on the times symbol in the spring, but it's a good idea for us to get introduced to it now so that we've seen it. So we have 1 times 5. That means one group of 5 equals, and we said how much we have inside the group? 5. Fantastic. So read it with me, please. 1 times 5 equals 5. Fantastic. Let's go to the next picture. So now again, we have one group, but how much do we have in our group this time? 3. Let's count it together. 1, 2, 3. So one group of 3 is how much? That's right, it's 3 again. One group of 3 is 3. It's very hard for me to write with my pen, so I'm going to use typing. There we go. One group of 3 is 3. We can also write that as a number sentence. 1 times 3 equals, that's right, 3. Are you noticing a pattern with the way I write my multiplication sentences? Do you notice something? 1 times 3 equals 3. 1 times 5 equals 5. What is happening to the total beside the equal sign? Let's try it again. One group of 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. One group of 4 is 4. Again, it's the same number. So the total is the same as how many are inside your group. One group of 4 is 4. One group of 3 is 3. One group of 5 is, your turn, 5. And I can write that again as a number sentence. 1 times 4 equals 4. You got it. All right, let's see if you can try this one yourself. You've got the picture. One group of 8 is how much? How much is in the circle? How many hearts are in the circle? One group of 8 is, that's right, it's 8. You guessed it. You didn't guess it, you solved it, which is even better. You're noticing the pattern, which means 1 times 8 equals, that's right, 8 again. So to find out what the total is going to be for a 1 times table, we just have to look at the number that we're timesing. So we're always going to have a 1 We're always going to have a times because it's one group of, and then we have to look at the number that changes the number that we're timesing inside the circle. 1 times 8 equals 8. 1 times 4 equals 4. Let's use the pattern that we know to help us finish these number sentences. So we don't have a picture this time, but we can use the pattern that we know. We can use the shortcut. 1 times 2, remember we're looking for the number that we're timesing. 1 times 2 equals, that's right, it's going to be 2. 1 times 6 equals, that's right, the number stays the same, 6. 1 times 7 equals 7. Can you try the rest? Have a little go. Pause the video and see if you can solve 1 times 9, 1 times 10, and 1 times 11 using the pattern that we saw. Right, welcome back. Now let's see how you did. 1 times 9 is, if you answered 9, well done. 1 times 10 is, if you answered 10, well done. 1 times 11 is, that's right, it's 11. So we're following the pattern. A number times itself is always the number. Or that's not true. I phrased that wrong. A number times 1 is always the number. See, it's just like real school. Miss Madison's making mistakes all the time. So a number times 1, which means one group of it, is always going to be the same number. Any number times 1 is always the same number. That's our special rule for the 1 times tables. We can follow the pattern to find 1 times any number. So even if it's a number that's too big for us to count right now, we can still follow the same pattern because 1 times a number is always the number. So we could do 1 times 300. What's 1 times 300 going to be? Your turn? That's right, it stays the same number. So 1 times 300 is 300. What about 1 times 57? What's 1 times 57 going to be? That's right, it's going to stay 57. And finally, for the really big one, 1 times 1 million. 1 times 1 million. Think of our rule, think of our pattern. 1 times a number always equals the number. So what's 1 times 1 million going to be? That's right, it's going to be 1 million. Look at my writing. Well, I have to say, I think my Smart Notebook writing is getting neater than it was last week. We've still got a long way to go, but maybe by the time we're done this, I'll have lovely year 1 handwriting from my mouse pad on the board. Right, so you've learned the 1 times table rule now. Hopefully you can go and practice some of that. And next week, when we look at the 1 times table problems, let's see if you can remember that rule to help you solve them quickly. And we'll do some more practice on our 1 times tables. So remember, if you can, every single day, counting in tens, counting in 5, so we have lots of practice. Let's do a bit of arithmetic every day. I know you have it in your maths videos with Miss Costello. And next week, we're going to look at our 1 times tables again. So great effort today, and we will see you next week. And thanks for being patient with my mix-ups. I'm recording this video after lunch, and you know after lunch, I always get a little bit cloudy. So thank you for your patience, and I will see you in my next video.